Okay, today I'm going to be replacing the top cover and hinges on this HP laptop. I've never been a big fan of HP stuff, but I bought this one because it was a good price and I needed a large hard drive. But unfortunately, like most Hewlett Packard computer stuff, not very well built. Already had a button fail on it. Had to repair the button there, the fan's gone in it, and now one of the hinges is seized up, and the actual, because it's gotten so stiff, the actual back cover's broken and ripped off the hinge. So I've just had some new ones arrive. So I'll have to try and do this without breaking the actual screen. It's a wonder the screen hasn't broken. But I've ordered some new parts off eBay, which has taken about a month to get here. Looks like this just clips off. But yeah, it's a wonder the LCD hasn't got broken from me accidentally trying to shut the computer with the faulty hinge. Yeah, is that going to come out of there? There we go. So it looks like that bit around the screen just unclips, so it's completely detached here. And it's actually got to the point here it's broken this metal bit here. Ripped off the mounts off the lid, so one of the wiring hasn't failed. But it's holding in there. I did get these plastic bits here as well just in case, but that one's got a little bit broken off it. But it looks like I have to take the bottom off as well, and then remove these hinges, remove the LCD off the actual back. I'll have to see if I can unplug it first, and then we'll put these new hinges in. They're a bit bent from, they didn't pack them very well in the post, just in the plastic bag. So we'll see how that goes. They're fairly stiff, these new ones as well, so I'm not sure if they're any better than the old ones. But they're meant to be new hinges, so, but you never know with stuff on eBay. But I guess they're meant to be fairly stiff to keep this screen in place, but they do seem a bit excessive, so I might even try lubricating those a bit more to try and prevent it from happening again. Now, have they sent me the right stuff here? Because they don't look right to me. Tell me they sent me two of the same. Oh, the bloody idiots have too. And of course it's not the side I need. Yeah, I think they sent me two of the wrong side hinge. Ah, unbelievable. Bad enough having a piece of crap computer, but of course the idiots on eBay, or maybe I didn't read it right, but I'm pretty sure it said a pair of hinges, one for each side, not a pair of the same hinges. Yep, so I've got both. There was meant to be a kit of each hinge for each side, and of course the idiots have sent me two bent up left-hand ones. But anyway, so I'm going to have to get onto them to get a replacement. But this computer, I just know some of the wiring's actually getting frayed here and stuff, so I think I'm going to have to patch this up for now. At least put the new back on and try and repair this, lubricate this original hinge, because I don't think the computer's already been a month or something. I don't think it's going to last until these idiots send me the right thing, if they can even manage that. So I've got the computer shut down. I'll see if I can actually, I don't know if I can even close these hinges enough to get the battery out of this thing. God, that is stiff. I really have a gutful of this computer. It's been an absolute piece of junk. Unlocked. And it runs like it really slow anyway. Probably because I've got so much stuff on the hard drive, and Windows 10 doesn't like files anymore. But it has been a pretty junky, my old Toshiba, which was a bottom of the range Toshiba, because I knew it was going to have a hard life. And that's like 8 or 9 years old, I think now, and it's still going better than, it actually runs faster than this on half the things. And never had any problems. The keyboard's fairly worn out on it because I used it a lot. And the fans needed cleaning a couple of times, which is not surprising in that period. But it never fell apart like this, and it was just a flimsy cased, sort of cheaper version of the Toshiba. So I think that's alright. We'll get this case off. How did I get that off again? I think, oh, you do have to lift that up. I'm trying to remember what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I've got to clip it out. Yeah, it's a wonder this thing hasn't completely failed. If it does, I think I'll just I've got everything backed up off it anyway, so it can go in the dumpster, I think. And this is probably, I don't know how old this is, but probably 3 years at the most. So they do make pretty shoddy stuff, Hewlett Packard, unlike their sort of test gear and stuff they used to make in the old days, which was super quality stuff that everyone wanted. And yeah, I can't remember how to unclip this now. Absolute plastic junk it is. Here we go. Yeah, case is cracking there, and there it goes over the USB port. So this is like the crappiest, it's actually the most powerful computer I've ever owned, but it's probably the worst, slowest one I've ever owned too. Like Windows 10 is absolutely useless. Is there a screw I've missed here? Feels like I have. Should be 10 of them. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. No, I've got all the screws. That's the new back. Why doesn't it want to come out? Ah, what a horrible piece of junk. This really has been a horrible computer. Oh, so the whole case is cracking now. There's got to be a screw here somewhere. I took the wires out, didn't I? That one's out. I'm sure there were 10 screws in this thing. Like I'm sort of at the point I want to bloody hit it with an axe. It's going to be a miracle if this screen doesn't get broken just trying to get this piece of crap apart. Oh, there it goes. What a heap of junk. So now I should be able to unplug this screen somehow. There's all the wiring. So 2 of those are Wi-Fi. Oh, yeah, 1 and 2 they're labelled. Black one is number 2. So I've got a couple of Wi-Fi antennas. That must be the LCD display maybe, and that's probably the backlights coming across here, is it? Something like that. So I'm going to take the Wi-Fi module out to get that out. Handy. So there's our little Wi-Fi unit. We're going to put that safe. So yeah, we're going to have to pull it apart again when the proper part arrives by the look of it, because these morons sent me the wrong thing. Does it have to come off? Probably. Now, how does this connector come out? Yeah. Just wobbles out. Wiggles out, whatever the word is. Yeah, I'm lucky this hasn't failed in a more major way. I've basically been leaving the lid open on it, but it still gets moved around enough to flex the cables a bit and wear them out a bit. Well, that bit doesn't seem to go into anything. I don't think it's broken on this side as well. Nothing would surprise me at this point. And I think I might have to take the fan out too. That does not want to come out of there. It feels like the little bit that screws into this failed, or if it has a threaded here, I think I can see something there, so even that's broken. So that may have broken earlier because the hinge is gone. So the question is, how am I going to get the hinge? Is it going to lift? It's coming, I think. What a god-awful thing. Actually, maybe that cable doesn't go up to the screen. Oh no, that's just... What is it? Some sort of, looks like a little antenna connector on the end. I'm not sure even what that is. That's the power connector. Yeah, of course. Oh, so I didn't need to unplug that wire. So that's not screen related. Now I might be best undo this other one too. Oh, that one's gone as well. Man, these things really are junk. So yeah, I don't think I'll ever touch a Hewlett Packard again. I mean, I know they don't make anything like they used to, but pretty pathetic for such a new device. I probably could take this back under Australian consumer protection because it hasn't lasted the expected amount of time without half falling to pieces on me. And it has a pretty easy life. Ah, yeah, look, that's busted. So that is actually part of the front. No, that's still not that other bit that's failed though. Ah, what a horrible, horrible unit. It's come free finally. Absolute piece of junk. So that's the original spring hinge that's failed. But I may have to keep this going for now. So it's ripped all these bits clean off. The screws are still attached to the plastic. The original, and you know, it probably is a bit of dust has got in there has caused it, but they really shouldn't fail that easily. It's certainly not a very good design if a bit of dust gets to them, because I mean it's a laptop, it's bound to get dust in it. It is pretty stiff. So I think those other ones feel pretty stiff to start with, but not as bad as this one. So if you undo that spring a bit, I think it's the springs or it just washers in there. It might just be washers. It's already looser. I might just put a little bit of machine oil on that. Oh, yeah, now it's nice and loose. Yeah, probably a bit over tight to start with. That one's pretty tight as well, so I might loosen that one off. Yeah, you can see that mount there, it's the little plastic bits pulled out, the little metal bit, threaded bit, same with this one. Little gold bit there, that should be stuck into the bottom of the case, and that's failed. So for some reason that's ripped out of the plastic, probably because it's junk. So the whole case on this is a real flimsy bit of rubbish. Yeah, that's much better. I'm just going to have to make this loose. I mean, I usually only use it in the up position or the down position, just on my lap, working on stuff. So yeah, so this is busted as well, I think. Yeah, there's a tab there broken off it. So there's really not much that hasn't broken on this thing. Now, where are this? How do I get? I've got to get this cover off first. Looks like I can actually lift the LCD slightly. Yeah, that's the LCD coming up ever so slightly. I just don't want to move it too much, but is that going to come out? Of course it's not. It should do, I think. Where's... Oh, hang on. Oh, you got to lift it. You know, it's coming. There we go. Just got to jiggle it sideways, upwards and sideways a bit. But of course this hinge is in the way. Does that go any further? Maybe not. There we go. So I might just undo the nut on this one too. Just a bit. I prefer it ends up unscrewing itself than breaking anything again. I've got to take it off anyway, so I guess I might as well get it out of the way. Although I do have a good one to replace this one, so looking at this, there might not be much point. So there's 2 top screws and 3 bottom ones, and that's the hinge off. Yeah, There's a bit of dust in them, but still, like I say, I mean, it's a laptop, it's bound to get a bit of dust. Probably should use some bigger pliers. And that makes it a bit looser. I'll just patch these ones up for now. And yeah, I don't really need the screen to sit in any intermediate positions that much, I don't think. It's not a very heavy screen, so I can't see why they need to be particularly tight, these things. Okay. So yeah, that looks like it's only good enough, so all the wires have to be fed through that one. Oh, how's that going to go through? Must just make it. This is really tight. Hey, if you squeeze it up a bit, it does make it. And yeah, I better check these wires because they've got a bit of... The Wi-Fi connections are definitely copped some damage. So I don't know if those little coaxes are very good anymore. Probably not the best, but it seems to work on Wi-Fi still alright. But I could always plug it into the network if need be. So I'll take that broken bit of hinge off there. I might get the screws for this side over this side. Those ones are still all attached to there. That's the one for the plastic cover. That's broken. Bottom LCD. I think the LCD's actually got top screws, has it? Well, they've already come out with the, yeah, they're part of the hinges. So you want to be careful with this thing not to flex it or anything. And of course, there's another wire here looking a bit damaged. Jesus, that is not too good. I can see some copper sticking out of that. That's probably just the camera, which I don't really use. Yeah. Careful. That's one of the Wi-Fi's. Must be some sort of little circuit board antenna or something. Just careful with this LCD, I don't press on it. Could certainly do with a clean that LCD now that I can see it in this light. Hope it hasn't been done for a bit. So these wires are just in these little plastic tabs that hold them in place. Just a matter of jiggling them out from under those. So Wi-Fi, cutaway oil, and finish getting this camera one out now they're out of the way. I don't know, we're probably going to need all this foil and yeah, nothing on the new cover, as is usually the case. So let's see if I can carefully peel this stuff off. Ah, I see this bit of metal here is melted on by the look of it. We're going to need a knife to cut that off. These aftermarket Stanley knives aren't much good. Come on. And the last thing you want to be forcing isn't... that'll be right. Forcing is a knife blade to suddenly come out. It's actually going to hold in there. I have to go and find the proper one, I think. And being careful to make sure you don't do anything that can come back on this display and crack it, because they're very flimsy. So just got to cut this little bit of plastic off the top, and there's our little bit of metal loose. That knife set its day, I think that could go in the dumpster too. This seems to be just stuck on this bit of foil. Okay, so now we can get the display out of the way. Somewhere well out of the way so I can't break it. That's fairly solid, at least it didn't tear. Which I was kind of expecting it to do. It doesn't line up. Is that how it was? Maybe it wasn't there. Never as simple as they should be. Oh, I can line these up with that where that display fits on. Camera, I should say, or that bit of metal strap under it. Or over it, or wherever it was. Oops, a bit too far in. So they're these two little holes here are the ones to start with, I guess. Oh, actually there's something under that, wasn't I? I can't remember now. Same holes there. Oh, I see, it fits on that plastic tab, then the first screw hole. That makes more sense. Ah, yes, that needs to come into there. Yeah, I didn't think it just didn't line up with the two screw holes, but it's a little rough to say the least, but yeah, I wanted to put that camera, but anyway, we'll get this other bit of, I'm going to put it underneath, other bit of stuff off here. And we can chuck that old cover away, I think. Yeah. How did that go? Like that, I think. Into that second screw hole. Yeah, into that hole, screw hole there. Then this has been damaged. I'm not sure where that went originally. Must be over that little bit that sticks up. And onto that. That's the first screw hole on this side, so that's a bit different. And that little plastic tab sticking up. I think that should do it. Some sort of grounding strap or something. Might just be something to do with C-tick approval or something. Okay, I think we can bring our display back now. Bit of dust there. And that must have gone something like that. Must be a little, yeah, there's a little pin there. Does that locate it? There's another pin there. Is there another second? Oh, yeah, there's a locating hole at one end and a locating hole at the other. This little camera, so there's a couple of little, one pin there and one pin there, so I assume they locate. Oh yeah, and then that comes up to this little straight bit here, so that would be how that fits. Yep, so that sits on those two little pins. Probably should have took a photo of that, where that went exactly, but and I think this went under those. Oh, did it go under or over? Oh no, I think they went onto the foil on that camera. Then this went over and onto these little plastic locating bits at each end. I don't think that wire went under there. I better turn my soldering iron on just to melt that back on. So that wire probably goes around there, through there, and then through all these little locating bits. Under that one. So quite a fiddly job. So what is this? Not sure how these are backlit or if they're edge lit or what they are. There's not much on the back of the screen, just a white bit. So it's probably LED edge lit from down here somewhere, but it's certainly got a thin backing on it, whatever it is. That goes down there. Yeah, this wire's looking a bit sad down the bottom. It's certainly got a bit of damage to it. I think that goes something like that. And we've got these two little gadgets that have got to go back, so they've got to go in before the display. Now, where did that A sit? Is it there somewhere? Must have been there somewhere. I take it they sit on that thing. There's like a little place that seems to locate it. Now, what about the other end? Assume it would be there somewhere. Oh yeah. I think that's where it would have gone. WLAN. Hopefully that's about right. Bit of an odd route for this cable. Or did that come through there? Yeah, probably through there somewhere. Oops. And up along there, I think. Yeah, a lot more wiring in it than I thought going up round here, but there you go. All these little gadgets got to be connected up. So this is half the job anyway, even if I've got the wrong hinges. A lot of the work is actually changing this back over. So once the correct hinges turn up, that seems a bit short. Try to put them in the right. That's where the damage is on that one, but the damage on this one's up there, so well, that's in the right spot. Why is this one shorter? Because it should have gone there, is my guess. Yeah, it would have belonged in that little spot. Maybe? Yeah, I might have to go back and have a look where they're actually located. Probably makes more sense for it to be down lower there. Yeah, it pays really to take a photo these days and so you can remind yourself where everything was located. Does that go in there? I don't think so, no. Shame I can't just chuck these Wi-Fi things away, it'd make it a lot easier. Not sure they're going to be that effective anyway after the damage they've copped. Yeah, that's got the damaged areas back together. So it must have gone there. Now, that's got to locate on those plastic pins. Doesn't really want to go there that much, it's foil sticking up a bit. That just needs to be melted back down with something like a soldering iron. a little loose there. Never really work as well as the factory ones for some reason. But anyway, that should, once the display's in, that should hold that in place. Now, so what do I have to do? Or does it, I don't think anything else went under. Oh, those plastic things did a bit, didn't they? Yeah, that should fit in after. Now, which hinge is which now? That was the one I adjusted. That's a bit better than the new ones they sent me. Yeah, they're quite stiff. Put them back in their bag. I think I'll put the old one back in. Oops. Watch these screws stick into the magnetic screwdrivers. Careful, make sure that display sits properly. Not putting any pressure on it. Not bending it or anything. And the camera keeps stopping every half hour, which is a pain. So I'm just removing these old... Got the other hinge back in place, just removing these old bits of case from the hinge, since I'm going to reuse this one, or had to get the screws out anyway, whether I reuse it or not. So that's the broken bit, so that faces that way. And then there's a locating pin. I think that wiring, did that wiring go under there? Pretty sure it did. Yeah, it's got to go through. Oops. So, because I'm not putting that hinge back in, I better put all the screws back in place. I don't think there's much point putting that side bit of it back in. There's the one on that broken bit of plastic hinge cover. So yeah, I can screw... Where is that hinge cover? I did get a new one. It's a hole in it. Yeah, so the wires have to go back through that. And this one's a bit of a tight one to fit. Two Wi-Fi ones. I think that's the right way. Get in there. Yeah, that'll slot onto the... did that one actually go up around? Probably did. Get out of the way. Or was it that one that went round there? That's probably the one that went round through there. Yeah, and then it comes out like that. I think that's how that went. Yeah. So they don't make it easy. Okay, put the 3 black screws back on. Just be careful again not to press anything down on the display or anything. Make sure that's located properly. Oh yeah. So that's the hinge attached to the case. It's probably a tad too loose now, but I might tighten that up just a bit. Don't want it flopping around too much, but definitely don't want it jamming up again. That oil's probably had a bit of time to soak in, and yeah, that's probably about the right tension. Probably isn't even enough as they would have put on it, but still. I don't want this breaking again. I think that does go on anyway, but oh, it does. Just screw this display on, then we've got to slide this hinge cover back in. So let's see, do they come in? Don't tell me they had to go under there as well. They probably did, didn't they? Didn't think about that. Thought they could go around, but I think all three of these wires have to go under the actual hinge. We're going for the length here, right? They're long enough. About the same, so fingers crossed I've got them in the right spot. Don't have to go to plug them in and they're not long enough, but oh, my luck. Well, that's probably more bad management than bad luck. But yeah, I've had enough of this computer, so I don't feel like wasting too much time on it. The sooner it's back up and running, the better. But yeah, it's an easy job now that I've changed the back cover to if I get the right hinge here, it's just a matter of undoing those 3 screws and the 2 up the top. That has got out of whack. There's always something. Got to keep your eyes on everything. So yeah, the worst of the job's done really, just in changing the display and all the other bits over. Of course, I didn't notice that had moved. Which one is it? Of course, the one that's still under there. So yeah, you've got to keep an eye on these wires when you're pulling on one end, that they don't get out of whack at the other end. Oh, get under there. Come here, screwdriver. I don't want it all go under there, that's for sure. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Sometimes you might just have to push them home with a screwdriver to get them under all these little tabs that hold them in place. When you've got 3 wires, they tend to push each other out. Don't think that's meant to go the other side of that, so get that back out. Yeah, very fiddly little things. Unfortunately, all the modern electronics is like this. It's not much fun to work on. All miniaturised stuff. Then these cables that don't want to fit back into where they go. Probably have to pull these a little bit tighter. You little mongrel. Yeah, they haven't really given much room to fit all 3 cables in. And get them to stay there. Come on, in you go. Yeah, so most of this job is just messing around with these silly cables that run around the screen. Ah, God, they just slide straight out again, absolutely useless. Made to be done in the factory and that's it. Whatever's cheapest in the process of making it, but usually means it's a pain when you've got to work on it later on. Which, you know, it's a shame that this thing's such a bit of junk that it's needed to be worked on. It really should have lasted longer than it has. I'd hate to think what would happen if you actually used it as a laptop you cart around with you. And actually gave it a bit of a hard life. Because this one's only been like out in the garage to be fixed all the time since it's a piece of junk. Other than that, it just sits on the bloody desk pretty much and on my lap. So it's certainly not a rugged one. But yeah, I don't think I'll be buying anything from Hewlett Packard again. I didn't want to buy one from them in the first place, but it was too good a deal to resist seemingly, but in hindsight I should have stayed well away from it because it's been an absolute piece of junk and it's getting to the stage where I want to chuck it out anyway. I nearly tossed it and didn't bother even getting a new back and hinge for it because it's just hardly worth keeping it going. And you know, what's going to break on it next anyway? Ah, these wires just won't sit where they should. Because I'll probably fix all this and something else will die. Given that Windows 10 seems to like running the hard drive 100% all the time, that's probably the next thing to go. It certainly uses the hard drive excessively. And you know, it tends to run slow, so I don't know if it's this machine's a bit of a piece of junk, but it had reasonable specs on it, or whether you know, maybe the hard drive was slower than I realised, or whether it's just Windows 10 is as bad as it seems to be. But generally, it's been a pretty horrible experience owning this thing, and you know, having to fix it on top is just adding injury to the insult. Ah, get in there. Yeah, just horrible fiddly little things. But the human hands were never really made to work on these things. Yeah, that's got a clip under there. Yeah, that's it. That's got it. Seems to have suited home. Screwed all that on. It's got some stupid label on it, of course. Thanks for that. Great place to put it where it's going to be seen. Yeah. Only thing is, I seem to have picked up a couple of extra screws here somewhere. Now, do I not screw something down? Ah, that thing slipped out again. I think I should have chucked this thing in the dumpster, would have been the better option. Ah, these wires refuse to stay where they should be. They just don't want to fit in there and stay in there. And of course now I need more length to get it back under that one. At least it's nice and tight, so maybe it'll actually stay there. Yeah, there's just not enough room under these clips to get all three wires. Anyhow, that'll have to do. That one's popped up a bit too. So interestingly, oh, they screws off the base bit. Maybe that's just from getting the base bit off. Ah, well, I know where one of the screws goes. That's the one that's got to just go back in there for now, since I've taken this, left this metal strip off the side. So that one can just go in there so I can find it again. Now, I'm not sure I've got a spare black one there. That's the other new bit. Whether that came from underneath, I don't think it did. I'm just going to take this. Take this cover off again. Don't think I missed one under there, but you never know. No, all the holes are full. There's one there, one there. No, I've got no idea where that little flat screw came from. I'll have to go back and watch the video and see if I can work out where it came from. So I'll put all the stuff in back behind all this. It only had the 2 screws on it. No idea. Oops, bit of wire getting caught up there. Yeah, so these bits are broken out as well. So the other half of the hinge is not going to be very well attached. Now, how do we do this? We want those turned around so that it's in the screen down position. They certainly feel a bit easier to turn than they used to. Alright, that's the underside. Get this right in a minute. So the screen sits like that. Get these wires out of the way. Flip it over the other way. And we should be able to slide this back in under the hinges. A bit too far down. That's it. Now, where do these wires go is the next problem. They must go behind the hinge here. They call it round the hinge. I assume they squeeze through there somewhere. Oh, through this slot here. Must be it. So if we slot that into place here, then they come into this little hole here and back out through here. Where did that one go? Over there somewhere. There. And I've got to press. Oh yeah, so yeah, we've got to get these wires in place. Cool, is that how it does it? Or does it come out around the back here? Maybe around the back there. Yeah, I think that they were jammed up against that heatsink from memory. And then yeah, that one's just going to have to push into the hole because it's broken the hole. Or pulled the little metal threaded part out of the hole. Maybe the wires, do they come on top of that hinge? No, they can't do that. They really haven't left much room to put anything. Now they went into that module there. Maybe they do go further over that way. Home? I don't think it is. No, it hasn't gone quite down where it should. Probably because this other screw doesn't want to push back into where it goes. Yeah, I think that's our problem. No, I might just have to pull that one in with the other one. Yeah, it seems to be lifting it up alright. Whoops. I'm guessing one of those is also that hole's probably the bottom of the case. Well, that's the middle one, of course. So we don't want that screw in there. That middle one, we want the end one and the other end one, because the other one's for the case. Now I don't know if I should tighten this up onto that cable or not, but it seems to be pulling down alright. Oh no, maybe not. I think that's just pulled out of the case as well. Yep, she's certainly a flimsy bit of junk. So it looks like it almost needs this other case as well. That's what a heap of crap it is. Ah, that's where that other black screw went by the look of it. I thought it might be down under here somewhere. Yeah, it's a very shonkily built, cheapo plastic kind of a computer. And it certainly didn't appear to be a cheapo one when I bought it, but there you go. It's, like I say, not a brand I'd normally touch. Because, yeah, I've basically got the impression that Hewlett Packard computers are pretty shoddily put together. Actually, I think I had a HP desktop once that started getting some intermittent powering off problem or something, and like crashing. But it was like a electronic issue, like a problem with the motherboard or something. I think that's the last HP I ever owned. A long time ago. I normally try and buy Toshiba, but they're not with the laptops, but they're not what they used to be either. You know, unfortunately they use some horrible American software and stuff for their mouse pads and that, which is pretty horrible and kind of ruins an otherwise good computer. And you know, all those stupid features they have now that you can't turn off on the touchpads, which is annoying when you just want a basic touchpad to not a mobile phone type setup. So the fan's got to go back in. Oh, where did the fan screw on? I'll probably put a screw in I shouldn't have. Those wires don't seem to be quite in the right spot. Put our Wi-Fi back in. So yeah, it's going on probably over 3/4 of an hour so far. White one goes to the white one. At least they're long enough. God, they're fiddly little plugs, those, aren't they? How do you get them on? You should just end of your fingernail by the look of it. Amazingly small. Okay, try and work out how to get these wires. I'm not real happy with how they fit under that hinge. So the hinge is fixed to this, of course, but would they have gone over the hinge there? Maybe they did. It's always the problem trying to work out where everything went. I think I should put that one in after I put the fan back in, but maybe they did actually. Oh, there's another wire already under there, so that might be what I'm confusing it with. Ah, of course now one of these is twisted around the other one, but anyway. Yeah, can I do that without? Probably not. I'll probably have to disconnect everything again, which is annoying. I don't know. Can I sneak that around? No, I can't. Now the plastic's coming off. Now the Wi-Fi's in the way of getting this back out. What a design. I think they might have to go around that way. That kind of makes more sense. So it looks like the wires go on top of the hinge. The wire to the power socket below, and these ones on top. Now what do I do with that screw? Oh, how does this fan attach? Yeah, it is through there. So these are going, yeah, so that fan must go under the, yeah. Nice when it's, you work on something you work on all the time and you know where everything goes, but I haven't really had this apart once before, I think, to do the fan. Oh, and the button. And I think I might have had to fix that button once before that as well. So I think they go like that. That must be how it goes. How exactly does that go in? Like that. I think that's right. And then we've got our, what do we got? Black and white. On our Wi-Fi, 1 and 2. Fairly little things. It's hard to know where it's actually located. Right at the end, I think. There we go. Come on. It seems to be sitting on there. Why won't it go home? They really are fiddly little things. Just got to get the angle right, I think, on everything. That's it. Just got to hold it on quite the right angle. Angle of the dangle, as what's his face would say. Okay, so I haven't put that screw back in, have I? What do I do with the screw? Well, now there's a good question. Oops, damn wire in the way. Where did I put that screw? Oh wait, I put it in there, didn't I? So there must be another screw to go in there, surely. If that one holds the fan down. Ah, what am I thinking? That's the, as I thought before, it's the base screw. Bottom of the computer goes through the middle one of that and the middle one of that hinge. So I think I've actually got that all back together besides our screen surround. Yeah, how does this go back on? That's the next problem. I thought it slid forward a bit. Maybe not. Something that doesn't seem to want to go back. Yes. Oh, it is that bit, isn't it? So, ooh, is that hinging right? I think it is. It's just, yeah, it's a lot. Moves a lot freer than it did. Let's see if this axle clips home. Horrible thing. Oh, there goes a bit of my USB port. Bit of plastic above that's fallen off now. Yeah, this plastic's just junk. Seems the more you do with it, the more it falls to pieces. So it's only made to last a couple of years by the look of it. So I guess that'll teach me for going against my dislike of HP computers. And it's probably a matter of time before all these bits, mounts for these screws start falling out as well. But yeah, I'd hate to actually throw one of these things around a bit. it would destroy the thing in no time, I'd say. So yeah, I'll definitely steer away from these in the future. And a screw under each foot. So at least it's got plenty of screws in it. It's not too bad to take apart, which is one good thing. It's one thing with my old Toshiba, you have to take the keypad out and split it all apart. Real pain just to even clean the fan in that one. But it has lasted so well. I think even the backlights are starting to get worn out on the screen a bit, but it just keeps going. And with minimal need to service anything. And the hinges are still fine in that one from new, never had to touch them. I think there was a Toshiba laptop where the hinges used to fail in them. Oh, that's nice and smooth now. Well, that probably, yeah, will probably. Okay, well, it's all back up and running again. Screen is a little bit on the floppy side, but I guess there's a risk also of turning the computer off unexpectedly. But it's all working again for now. So I'll have to get onto those guys on eBay and get them to send me the right hinge. But at least this has got it working again. There's a lot less chance of me breaking the screen or something by accident. But that's basically what you do to replace the hinges in one of these and the top. Thanks for watching.